Hi, Scott here with 802 Outdoor Adventures. Eric and I are taking a break from metal detecting cellar hole here. Thought I'd take a minute to sort of let you know what's been going on with my channel, because my videos have been getting short, and so I'm just kind of putting out content to put it out right now. So I got to go back a little bit to last winter. I started doing some research and thought I'd undertake a little project, and I got together with Eric, and between us we started to do some research, and we went on a quest to find some Revolutionary War stuff, because the Crown Point Road runs through this area, and Eric scored us a permission of a place that the Crown Point Road goes right through the guy's property, or so they think. But for those of you that don't know what the Crown Point Road is, let me go back a couple hundred years, and back when this whole area was discovered, it was claimed by the French, and over the course of time the French started to take more and more area, and they started to get into British territory, which made the British mad, so they declared war on the French, and long story short, they ended up capturing a couple of forts up on Lake Champlain, Fort Ticonderoga and Fort Crown Point. Well, General Amherst,
Hawk and Amherst,
yeah, decided that they needed to build a road over to New Hampshire so they could get supplies and stuff over to Fort Crown Point for the war effort. And so he penned a document saying build the road. And anyway, that's the Crown Point Military Road, which runs down through here. And that was what, 1759, I think he did that. So I hate to interrupt this video, but as I was watching it, I realized I forgot to add a few things that I think are important. We talked about the British taking over, or fighting the French, and taking over Fort Ticonderoga and Fort Crown Point. But that doesn't really address our independence. So I thought I'd just add in, for those people that don't know much about the Crown Point Road and the role it played in our independence, is the road was built by the British, but it was also used by the colonists when they planned on taking over those forts. So it kind of backfired on them, and we were able to use that road to send troops from Massachusetts and New Hampshire to win our independence from the British. And beyond that, it became an important role in Vermont's history, because it was really considered the first interstate. It was a main thoroughfare southeast and northwest that the colonists could travel, and settlements began to spring up even more than there were. The few colonists that had settled in this state largely built around the Crown Point Road. But as after we won our independence, more and more people started using that road for finding new land. So that's how the road played a role in our independence, and also in Vermont's history as populating the state.
1759-ish was the first cut, and then to make it easier for travel for bigger troops with carriages and supplies, they ended up changing the route a couple of times. They bumped it north a couple of times, and some of it is still parts of main roads that you can find. Most of it is lost in the woods. The Crown Point Association has done a great job, I think, over the years of all the original markers marking the route of the Crown Point Road, I believe, have now been replaced or found or restored in some way. For me personally, this is my backyard. I've lived here all my life, and
Yeah, same here.
I like the area. I always kind of liked history. I never really liked my history classes because they never taught any. They taught the same stuff over and over, a little more in depth every year. But you don't really get a local history class. And I'm asking everybody out there that really believes in history, talk to your local school administrations and whatnot. I think everybody should have a local history course of some sort over the years, just so you know what happened in your backyard. That's what got me interested, and that's what got me out looking for, some of these encampment areas that are supposed to have been along the Crown Point Road, but, either people have forgotten where they are or, they're just lost to time.
And that's what we're trying to find now, is we're trying to prove out some of the areas that are on the maps. We haven't had any success, though. Unfortunately, that's why I haven't really been putting out that many videos. Is every weekend we go out and we try to prove out on a map where the encampments or where the road could have been. And the Crown Point Road Association has done their best to map the road out, but even they'll tell you, and if you're interested in researching this, they have a bunch of resources online. I think it's crownpointroadassociation.org or something. I can put a link in the description, but they've done a ton of research, and even they'll tell you that the road it evolved over time. So if they found an easier route or a tavern was built, the road would move closer to whatever, which I thought was kind of strange that you'd move a whole road closer to a tavern, but I guess it makes sense. Anyway, they were trying to prove this out, and we just haven't been able to yet. We haven't found anything anywhere that would prove Revolutionary War or even that era. Yeah, nothing military. So
not for lack of trying, and we aren't stopping.
Yeah, that's right. We're not going to stop our quest today. We're just out banging around. Actually, we are, as the crow flies, pretty close to the Crown Point Road in this area, but I wouldn't expect to find anything military here. But you never know. I mean, that's why we check these places out. Anyway, that's kind of what's been going on with the channel. This place that we have been to, that Eric found for us, through in the history books, I mean, there's been tons of activity there.
Over the time, there were supposed to have been 2,000 soldiers that had stayed on that property somewhere. And I mean, everybody knows how the old maps are. The area that they mark on the map is kind of a general area. So, and there's different stories from, the people that I've talked to that are also into the history around here, that have lived around here or had family around here. And, the guy that, I believe the guy that, whose property I have permission to be working on, is actually related to the original owner of the area. So, he's been able to give me a little bit more insight, but nobody really has a whole lot.
Yeah, and it's not like this is just tall tales in a book either. I mean, there's Revolutionary War soldier graves dedicated to those guys. There's unknown soldier graves nearby, and there's different grave sites for Revolutionary War soldiers. So, I mean, I think the stuff we are reading in the books is true. We just need to prove it out and pinpoint some where the activity really was. I think we're close. Like Eric said, we're not giving up. So that's the direction that we've been headed this year. We've actually got 3 different projects like that kind of ongoing.
Yeah.
At some point we'll sit down and talk about the other one that I just found out today there's another fella that lives close by that has been trying to find this other area that we've been looking for 30 years. I'm going to reach out to him, I think, and try to sit down with him and see what he's got on it. But so far, even some of the cellar holes we've been hunting have turned up with really nothing. I mean, it's amazing that.
I'm getting jealous of some of the other unnameable names on here.
Yeah. So much so we quit watching their channels. It's depressing.
Sorry, guys. Still
Yeah.
love you, but
That's not true.
jealous.
I still watch them once in a while, but it really is depressing, you know, for anybody that thinks they're just going to go out and put a coil down on the ground and find a coin. You know, we're living proof that that doesn't happen. And we've been to how many cellar holes this year? At least a dozen.
I can't count.
It's incredible. So I guess to not make a long story longer, if you want to know more about the history of the Crown Point Road, you can always go to the crownpointroadassociation.org or just search Crown Point Military Road. Or if I think there's a book that you can download on PDF, the historical markers of the Crown Point Road, and in the beginning of that book, it actually goes into some pretty neat detail of what they found doing their research, of who built the road, how many troops it took to build it. I think there was originally 200. Some of the people involved, I know if you traveled through New Hampshire, you've probably seen signs for like the John Stark Highway. They're everywhere over there. He was one of the guys that partook in building that road, and I don't know. It's just an interesting read. I will say this: back in 1965, when they were building the interstate through Springfield, Vermont, that they uncovered a large section of the corduroy part of the road, which is what they called those sections where they had to lay logs down in swampy areas so they could travel across the logs, and it formed like a corduroy pattern. So they uncovered that. So I mean, they do know where bits and pieces of this road are for sure.
Some of them are in hiking areas as well, hiking or reservation areas where you can go take a little walk on parts of them. You can find it. There are people, you know, local to us, or kind of local to us anyways, that, you know way more about it than I could ever begin to tell you.
Yeah. And I think, what'd they say? This road was a little over 77 miles long, and I think I wanted to say 32 markers, but there's probably more than that.
There is a downloadable thing that will put all those markers right on a map for you. So and with GPS points. They
do have GPS coordinates to where all the markers are. So at some point, I'm going to take a ride over to New York to the Fort Crown Point Park over there, and we can also take a ride, and it's not far, to Charlestown, New Hampshire, where the other end of the Crown Point Road connects, and that's at Fort number 4, and it used to be called Fort Stevens back in the day. The fort that you visit now isn't on the original site of where it was, but it's pretty cool. So maybe we'll follow this video up with a couple of road trips. I'm pretty sure I can find those if we're not finding anything else. I do know where Fort number 4 is. I've been by it a million times. But anyway, I think, is there anything else that you want to add to this? Or I think we're good. So that's what's been up. Sorry I haven't really been putting out some cool finds, but we just haven't been finding anything. I do plan on still panning for gold. We've been prospecting a bunch, and there again, we haven't been finding anything. So if you've watched, I think it was my last video, or my last gold panning video, Justin and I went out and we found a few pieces. That brook we're going to hit again, and we're going to hit it a little harder. I know there's gold in there. It's a brook that the old timers used to pan. It's just now we got to find where they were. So anyway, that's it. And stay with me. Keep it in there. We're gonna find something. One of these days we're gonna have something good for you. So we're keeping the faith. So until then, life is short, guys. Dive into some of this history. Go dig something and make the most of it. See you later.
Peace.